They stood in my living room like strangers. No, worse, like scavengers circling something they assumed already dead. My mother's eyes roamed the walls, the polished floors, the faint cedar scent that whispered of quiet wealth. My brother lounged in the doorframe, arms folded, smirking as if he owned my air. My father said little, but I recognized the same cold indifference he'd shown 5 years earlier, when he turned his back on me. "Nice place," my brother said. "Shame it's not yours anymore." I didn't answer. I simply stood there, hands steady, pulse even. I'd been waiting for this moment longer than they imagined. 5 years ago, I was their failure, the embarrassment, the son who'd lost his job and couldn't keep up. They didn't offer help. They offered humiliation. When I asked if I could stay until I found work, my mother said, "You're a grown man. Figure it out." My brother laughed. "You should have studied something useful." My father didn't look up from his paper. So I left with a suitcase and what dignity I had left. I slept in my car for 3 weeks, ate cheap noodles, and somewhere between hunger and fury, I made a promise. If they ever came for me again, I'd make sure they could never stand tall. The world forgets you quickly when you fall, but it remembers you faster when you rise. I told no one where I went. I took a job nobody wanted. Nights in a warehouse, back aching eyes, empty. I learned. I saved. Then I started small, freelance accounting for local shops. A year later, I had clients. 3 years, a firm. 5 years, everything. The house they stood in now, the car in the driveway, the silence they once forced on me, mine. When the knock came that morning, I already knew who it was. Signs have been everywhere. My father's business collapsing, my brother's gambling exposed, my mother posting wistful photos online, bait for pity. I didn't bite. They did. They arrived with practiced smiles and hollow hearts. Family, they said. Funny, that word used a wound. Now it just tired me. I let them in. I let them speak. My mother spun tales about how she missed me, how they'd always known I'd make it. My brother leaned in. "We need help, man. Dad's losing the house. You're doing well. You can share this one, right? Family sticks together." I remember how quiet it felt then, the air thick as if holding its breath. I smiled. "Share this house." He says, "Technically, it's still in Dad's name, right? He co-signed the deed when you bought it." That's when the truth landed. They hadn't come for forgiveness. They'd come for ownership. They assumed I was still the fool who signed where told. They thought I didn't know. 5 years ago, rebuilding taught me one thing. Power doesn't come from love. It comes from preparation. 2 years earlier, I'd changed the deed. The house wasn't in my name anymore. It belonged to my company, classified as a corporate asset, legally shielded, financially untouchable. And because my father had attempted to forge a co-signature years back for tax reasons, a fraud file sat with my lawyer. I never pressed charges. I simply waited. My mother's voice grew sharp. "We're not asking. We're telling you. You don't have a family if you don't help." I looked at her, really looked, once proud, poised, now desperate. Her words tasted like rust. "You're right," I said softly. "I don't have a family." My brother stepped forward. "Then you'll regret it." That's when I took out my phone. Calm, methodical, I dialed 3 numbers. 911, what's your emergency? I kept my eyes on them as I spoke. "Yes, I'd like to report trespassing and attempted property fraud. I have documentation ready." The silence that followed was exquisite. My mother's jaw quivered. My brother's smirk dissolved. My father finally looked at me, really looked, and saw what he'd helped create. He whispered, "You do this to your own family?" I almost laughed. "You did it first." Officers arrived within minutes. They led them out. I didn't flinch. I didn't gloat. I didn't say a word. Revenge doesn't need volume. It only needs timing. When the door closed and the house fell quiet again, I remained in the same spot, heart steady, mind clear. I walked to the window, watched the lights fade, and whispered to the empty room. "You shut me out. Now I've shut the door." People imagine revenge is fire. It isn't. It feels like control. Cold, clean, final. I didn't destroy them. I let the truth do the work. Sometimes the most effective revenge isn't ruin. It's reflection, letting them see what you become without them.